Good morning. Good morning. Hey, I was having this thought this morning, and this thought was, I don't know, a little bit different. But I was listening to the podcast talking about us pulling out of Iraq and pulling out of Afghanistan, and the current media strategy exploding, talking about how this was the biggest loss since Vietnam. This is the worst economic thing that the U.S. could have done. This, that, and the other thing. And it made me think back to a time when I was sitting in Iraq, and we had breached the border. We were in a full-on assault up to Baghdad, and we were just like right outside of Baghdad. We just wiped the floor with everybody going up. And there was a news broadcast that Saddam had put out, and the news broadcast was that that they were winning and that they were pushing us back. And this came to me because it blows me away, the different mentalities that we have. And I mean, in that situation where they're losing, like decidedly losing, there's no chance that they're going to win, but yet they're still pushing an agenda and pushing the mindset that they're winning. Now, inside of the U.S., we are pushing the mindset. We're out there winning, and we're pushing the mindset that we're losing in some way. So it's just a completely different mind fuck and mind shift that are going from completely two different angles. But my question for you isn't the media in Iraq, or isn't the leadership in Iraq or Afghanistan, or even the leadership here in the U.S. The question I have for you is the leadership inside of you. Where is your mindset shifting and lying to yourself and telling yourself the same story? When you're losing, you're winning. When you're winning, you're losing. Like, so often, these are the mindsets that we have. And this is the mindset that I get constantly. I'll be on fire making closing deals, getting everything ready, getting everything put together. And all I can think about is how I'm losing, what I'm losing, where I'm losing. And then there's points where I'll get to a point where I'm comfortable, and I'll start telling myself that I'm winning, and I'll be losing. I'm losing customers. I'm losing potential deals. I'm losing focus. I'm losing the momentum, losing the reps, losing. But I'm telling myself I'm winning. I mean, isn't it interesting how we can sit and criticize and go at the media and go at the leadership and tell them that they're telling the opposite of everything that's actually happening? Where are you guys coming up with this? Where does this even come from? We've done this, we've done that, we're winning, we've built this. Trump won, Trump didn't win. The Biden's gonna retire. Like there's all these different media stories that they're constantly telling, and they're shifting the narrative and changing the way that people think by operating this way. So I'm taking it from a different angle, and I'm taking it back to myself. And how do I tell myself these things? How am I shifting the narrative inside of myself? How am I slowing myself down and speeding myself up? Like, what are the things that I'm doing? Where is my mindset going that I'm shifting and putting myself in a bad spot? Because no matter which way I'm lying to myself, whether I'm lying to myself that I'm winning or I'm lying to myself that I'm losing, I'm losing. I'm losing both ways. I can't get where I want to go if I'm lying to myself. I can't create what I want to create if I'm lying to myself. So when you look at our media and our leadership, like, take a look deep inside yourself and think about how is this turmoil showing up in my life? How am I showing up in this same exact way? Because we can't fix that until we fix this. Like, that's never going to be fixed. That's just going to keep getting pushed out as long as we keep lying to ourselves, as long as we keep telling ourselves stories, as long as we keep believing the hype and believing the bullshit. Guys, but that hype and bullshit starts with you. That hype and bullshit starts with you every single morning when you go to get up and you tell yourself that you can't. That hype begins with you when you go out to close that deal and you tell yourself you can't. That hype begins with you when you are talking to somebody else about the numbers that you're doing and you're bullshitting them about the numbers. When you're telling them how awesome and excellent. Like, one of the common things that I run into inside of entrepreneurship and talking to all these different business owners and different things is they always want to go to revenue. Like, what revenue am I creating? I'm creating this big revenue, and they'll talk about 3 billion, 4 billion, 50 billion, 100 billion, like these huge outlandish numbers. But their actual profit is like 200 grand, 100 grand, maybe $1 million. Like, they're actually profiting and being able to pay themselves off of jack diddly shit. But they're telling themselves the story and lying to themselves about how they're doing these big, huge numbers. And is it a lie? No, because they're actually doing them numbers. But it's a lie because they're not telling themselves actually what they want to make. They're not pulling the actual money that they need to make. And the reason why they're not is because they're not getting clear on what they want to make. And they're not getting clear on their processes. They're not getting clear on the things that they actually need to do to increase profit. Guys, businesses are running so inefficiently, it's insane. There's so many businesses out there running just like our government, on a huge debt. Like, it just completely, I don't even know how to explain it. It drives me crazy. But it all starts with this lie. It all starts with the lie, the same lie that the media tells, the same lie that you tell yourself. Like, these same lies are the lies that are being pushed out to the people around us. The lies that, hey, you know what? I give a shit about my kids, but I can't make 5 minutes for them. When my son comes up and wants to play football, I don't seem to have the time. Like, these are the stories that we tell ourselves. What's important to you? How are you going to show up? What are you going to create? What are you committed to? And if you're truly committed to creating, then you're going to stop lying to yourself and tell yourself the actual truth. But the problem is that we're so lost in the lies that we can't even find the fucking truth. We don't even know what the fucking truth is. Because you heard this guy and this guy and that guy and that guy talk about the revenue, or talk about how, if you just say that you're doing this, if you visualize and say and it'll just manifest. Well, it doesn't fucking manifest unless you're clear on what you're chasing. Like, the biggest fuck fest that I see out there is the book The Secret. The book The Secret is a great mentality and a great mindset to get in. However, the problem is the people that interpreted it as they fucking sit there and do some woo-woo shit and things just show up. So now they've created a whole fucking generation of woo-woos. A whole generation of people that just sit there and think that they're going to manifest bullshit. Like, you don't get shit unless you work. You don't get shit unless you're honest. You don't get shit unless you're creating. All right, I'm going to get off my soapbox. But here's what I need you guys to do. I need you guys to get fucking clear. Like, take a minute today and just get clear. Get clear on just your day, for God's sakes. Get clear on what you're actually accomplishing in a day. Track your day. Track what you're doing from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed. And when you track what you're doing from the time you wake up to the time you go to bed, give a reason for everything. Like, go to the next column and put a reason for why you're doing this. Does this align with my future, or does this not align with my future? Guys, we have to start making decisions from our future and not from where we're at right now. Because if you continue to make decisions from where you're at right now, you're going to continue to make decisions from lies and bullshit. So you have to make decisions from the future, and you need to create from your future, not from today. It's time to change your mindset. It's time to get real. It's time to stop lying to yourselves. So let's get clear on where you're at today. Get clear on what you're doing today. It starts there. Does it align? Does it not align? And then you continue to move forward, guys. But it all starts with the bullshit lies. So get clear in the facts. Get clear in the facts today with what your day looks like. How are you performing? How much time are you lost scrolling Facebook? How much time are you lost watching television? I mean, guys, there is constant times inside of our day that we're lost, that we're lying to ourselves about. So take a minute today, go through, get clear on what you're doing, and just write it down throughout the day as you're going, so that way you don't end up caught in another lie, caught in another bullshit story. Us versus the media, right? The media is full of shit. The media is a bunch of liars. Well, so are you. Get clear, guys. Talk to you later.